Welcome to Strong with Raj. If you're building a home gym, the rack is the one thing you must get right. Buy once, lift forever. Today I'll show you exactly what matters. Safety, stability, and specs that actually impact your squat, bench, and press. No gimmicks, no attachment circus. Quick note before we start. This episode may use an AI synthesized version of my voice with my full consent. The script is written and approved by me. This is educational content, not medical advice. Train responsibly and use safeties or spotter arms. Who this is for? Anyone training barbell only in a spare room or garage. Beginner through intermediate. Who wants a rack that keeps you safe and doesn't wobble. If you want to squat to depth, bench with pin coverage, and press confidently, this will save you money and headaches. Bottom line up front. Pick a rack that is stable without tricks, gives you real safeties at the right height, and has the geometry to lift inside without hitting the uprights. The rest is noise. That means solid uprights and hardware, enough inside depth, proper hole spacing at bench height, and either strap or pin safeties you can actually set correctly. Rack types. Choose the right form factor. A full power rack is 4 uprights with safeties inside. It's the most stable option and the easiest to use for heavy squats and bench. If you have room for one, get it. A half rack is 2 uprights with long spotter arms. Quality half racks are fine in tight spaces, but the spotter arms must be long and stiff, and the base must not rock. Basic squat stands are last choice. They save space but make proper safety coverage harder, and often wobble when racking heavy. If stands are your only option, add independent spotter arms and accept the limitations. Specs that actually matter. Upright size and steel gauge. 2x2 or 3x3 inch uprights are standard. Thicker uprights plus heavier gauge steel reduce flex and vibration. For most home gyms, 3x3 with 11 gauge steel is a lifetime buy. 2x2 in good build quality can still be solid if the base is designed well. Hardware diameter, 5/8 inch or 1 inch through bolts give better rigidity and future compatibility with common accessories. J-cups should be steel with UHMW plastic to protect the bar. Look for cups that don't slop around the upright. Base design and anchoring. A flat foot power rack can be stable without bolts if it has a wide base. A bolt-down rack is the gold standard. Bolt it to concrete or to a plywood platform under your mats. If you can't drill floors, weigh the base with plates and choose a flat foot design. The rule is simple. If the rack moves when you rack a heavy squat, fix it or swap it. Inside depth. You need room to squat without the bar contacting the front uprights and to bench without your head hitting the rear. For most lifters, 24 to 30 inches of inside depth is workable. Deeper gives more freedom but takes more room. If you plan to press inside the rack, check that the bar clears the uprights at the top. Some compact racks are too shallow for that. Hole spacing and the bench zone. West side spacing, 1 inch hole spacing around bench height is ideal. It lets you set J-cups and safeties precisely so the bar clears your chest but still bails onto pins if you fail. Outside of the bench zone, 2 inch spacing is fine. If your rack only has 2 inch spacing everywhere, it's still usable, but safety pin placement will be less precise. Safeties. Straps versus pins versus spotter arms. Strap safeties are quiet and protect your bar knurl. You can set them with a slight sag to follow bar path on squat or keep them flat for bench. Pin or pipe safeties are simple and strong, just louder when the bar hits. On a half rack, long spotter arms must be deep and stiff enough not to dip under load. Whatever you choose, set your squat safeties just below your bottom position. Practice a controlled bail with an empty bar. For bench, set pins high enough that a failed rep lands on the pins with space to slip out, but low enough that your normal touch point isn't blocked. Test this with an empty bar before loading. Height and ceiling checks. Measure floor to ceiling. If your ceiling is around 7 feet, pick a rack height that clears pull-ups and overhead press if possible. For low ceilings, you can still press just outside the rack, but confirm you can unrack the bar without hitting lights or doors. Remember, the bar adds height above your head when you lock out the press. Width and bench fit. Standard rack. Inner width is around 42 to 43 inches. Your bench should sit flat with no wobble and fit between the uprights without the feet catching the base cross members. Ideal bench height is about 17 inches, 42 to 45 centimeters. If your bench rocks, shim it or replace it. Stability under load is non-negotiable. Flooring and footprint. Put your rack on 3/4 inch stall mats if possible. If you're bolting down, mount to plywood first and place mats around it, or cut and fit mats over the base once it's anchored. Leave loading lanes so you can slide plates on and off without fighting walls or posts. Budget tiers. What to buy at each level. On a tight budget, choose a flat foot half rack with long spotter arms, a basic but straight bar, and used iron plates. Prioritize safety and stability. Skip attachments. In the balanced middle tier, a 3x3 power rack with pin or strap safeties is the best value. Add a pull-up bar and a pair of storage pegs to keep plates off the floor. At the premium tier, get a heavy 3x3 rack with 1-inch hardware, strap safeties, and west side hole spacing. You don't need every attachment. Put budget into your barbell and plates before accessories. Used market checks. For racks, inspect welds and hardware. Assemble if allowed. If it sways or twists, walk away. For bars, roll it on a flat surface. If the sleeves wobble off the surface, the shaft is bent. Surface rust is fine. Deep pitting at the knurl is not. For safeties and J-cups, make sure the pins engage solidly and nothing rattles excessively. Common mistakes to avoid. Buying a rack that's too shallow to squat comfortably. Skipping safeties and telling yourself you'll just be careful. Choosing fancy attachments over a solid bar and plates. Ignoring anchoring because you don't want to drill, and ending up with a rack that migrates under load, and trusting 2-inch hole spacing at bench height without testing pin coverage. Set it up and test with an empty bar first. Simple setup process. Build the rack on your mats or platform, level the feet. If you are bolting, mark holes and drill once, not twice. Install J-cups at mid-chest height for bench and slightly below shoulder height for squats as a starting point. Install safeties. Then do 2 drills. A controlled squat to pins with the empty bar and a controlled bench fail with the empty bar. Adjust 1 hole at a time until both are perfect. Write down the hole numbers for your J-cups and safeties for each lift, so setup is instant next time. What about attachments? Keep it minimalist. A pull-up bar is useful. Plate storage keeps your space clean. Everything else can wait. If an attachment doesn't help you squat, press, or pull more safely or more often, it can stay on the wish list. Noise and neighbors. A stable rack, strap safeties, and controlled eccentrics cut noise drastically. Don't bounce the bar into pins. If you train early or late, add a layer of plywood under your mats to spread impact. Now, A quick decision checklist you can screenshot. Power rack if you have space, quality, half rack otherwise. Uprights 3x3 if budget allows, 2x2 works if the base is solid. Hardware 5/8 inch or 1 inch. Inside depth 24 to 30 inches. Hole spacing 1 inch around bench height if you can get it. Real safeties, straps or pins inside a rack, long spotter arms on a half rack, flat foot or bolt down base. If it moves, fix it. Bench fits stable between uprights. Mats under the rack. Record your J-cup and pinhole numbers for each lift. If you want a one-page rack buyer's checklist, you can print and bring to the store. Comment PDF and I'll share it. Drop your room dimensions and ceiling height in the comments and I'll tell you which rack style fits best. Subscribe if you want barbell-only strength, squat, deadlift, bench, and overhead press with no nonsense and no gimmicks.